Welcome to Tailored Motor TV episode 3. This time I want to talk about patents, intellectual property, and of course the opposite of it, open source. I don't believe in patents. I don't believe that patents can be helpful to an inventor. I think if an inventor has a great idea, it's way more important to invest time and money into launching, into bringing a product to market, into forging the whole business model around it to make a great customer experience than to invest in patents. Because if as a small inventor, you first don't have the money to really file for international patents, and even if you get that money from somewhere, you don't have the money to defend them. And even with large companies, you see huge patent lawsuits that end up with no winner or no loser, and at the end the only winner of these patent lawsuits is the patent attorney, is the lawyers that make huge money, and the companies themselves just end up with a big damage on their image, on their reputation. The issue you have as a startup is that usually the investors, the incubators, the accelerators, and they all ask for patents. And for me, this is nearly like a cult, a ritual. They celebrate patents like other people celebrate religion, because it's tradition. They believe in it. It was there for all the time, and so it must be something good. But I asked a very experienced startup coach who has 2 decades of experience, who has seen over 100 startup companies. I asked him, look, can you tell me one company that had to close business because of a patent lawsuit? He couldn't. And I asked him again, can you tell me one company that could defend its competitive advantage, that could push other competitors out of market through the patents they had? And again, he couldn't give me a good answer. So I firmly believe that the cathedral is the wrong way to develop. It's the bazaar. I recommend the reading of that great book, The Cathedral and the Bazaar. Have a look. It's open source, it's completely free, you can have it. And I also firmly believe in what Gary Vaynerchuk says in most of his episodes of Ask Gary V Show. That's the Ask Gary V Show. Also highly recommended listening to. He says, our ideas are nothing. Execution is king. How many online bookstore existed? And what is the market leader now? And why is he the market leader? Because he executed faster, he executed better. And you can take this for so many other examples of companies that had a huge patent portfolio but were not able to really create a customer value out of it. And I think that if you make something open source, you even increase the customer value. Because I learned that with EveryCook. With EveryCook we created a recipe database, and I had the first customer. It's Dismo actually. It's also a great Swiss startup doing an interface for the Internet of Things. Check out their website. That's the Dismo website. And we worked together in making a cooking Dismo based on the EveryCook database, because we had structured data, and one question the CEO asked me is, what happens if you don't exist anymore? What happens if you go out of business? And I just told him, look, whatever is in that database is open source. And if we change something that is useful for you, we will also open source it, and you can get it directly off GitHub, or we give you access to our server, whatever. We will make it possible that you can keep running Dismo, the recipe Dismo, if every cook has to close down its business. And I think for that motor business, that means for someone buying that motor, even if we don't exist anymore, he will be able to manufacture the spare parts to rebuild another motor if he burned, if he destroyed it somehow. So I think it's a very big competitive advantage. Now we live in a world where most of the things are already invented, and what makes a great customer value is not a single idea. It's a whole set of ideas perfectly blended, combined together. That makes customer value, and that makes a product awesome. And to make that, you have to step out of that cathedral. If you are a group of scientists, 10, 20, maybe even 100 scientists working in one lab, all together in one company, you get that group think. You often get that group thing. I won't say that you always get that group think, but there is always the danger that you get into groupthink, and groupthink is a very dangerous phenomena. You may want to read the Wikipedia article. That's the Wikipedia article about groupthink. And when you go into groupthink, you close your view to the outer world, and you start believing stuff that's just unreal. On one hand, you start to ignore warning signals that may be very important for your machine, your invention, your business. And on the other hand, you may miss out great opportunities that just are in front of you, but you just don't look at them. And that's why I think every company should fight groupthink by any means, and the best mean would be open source, in my opinion. And if you have the bazaar model compared to that, where you have that chaotic interaction of all kinds of people from different countries, from different businesses, working maybe on the same piece of software, or maybe on the same motor. I mean, if I make this motor and I have some users from medtech, I have some users from robotics, I have others users maybe from power plant, whatever. They all have different needs, and maybe we will find together the motor, or the way to adapt the motor to fit all these needs without changing the whole concept. So we can keep that idea of being scalable, of being adaptable, configurable, but so we have the same core, but we have the little details we change. And that's the reason why in the ongoing process of Tailored Motor, I mean, now I'm open sourcing my business model completely, and as next I will open source that mechanical design you see here. I mean, this one is already on GrabCAD. The GrabCAD is a great platform. Check out GrabCAD. And this model now is just a very rough draft. I mean, it's not magnetically optimized, it's not mechanically optimized, but as soon as I start this optimization, I start calculating that into detail, and I publish that data, maybe I will have, if I'm lucky, an expert that knows that field very well, that will have a short look and say, to my belly feeling, this makes sense, this should work, or no, sorry, that simulation you made here, that's very far from reality, as I can say through my experience. And I mean, that's the kind of feedback I would never get if I close down my ideas. But so that's my opinion on patents, intellectual property and open source. Thank you for watching, and leave me any feedback, any comments if you agree or if you disagree. I'm looking forward to discuss that topic with you. Bye bye.